Hi guys, it's Trisha here from Cards by TC. I hope you all are doing well. Thank you for watching today's video. In today's video, I bring to you two of my favourite fun folds combined together to make one card. So here's the card that I made. So as you can see, it's a double Z fold card. You've got your 1Z here, and then the second one on top is there. And it opens like this, but the difference is the top part opens like an easel. Can you see that there? Yep. And then I've got my little section here for a message that I want to put. Obviously you don't have to have this here, you can have your message at the back here if you want. This is a fairly simple card. The one I'm going to be making today is going to be slightly different. It's for a birthday, it's not a Christmas theme one, and I've decided to do two easel cards rather than just the one. So it's a double easel, double Z fold card. A double Zeasel card maybe? I don't know. We'll think about the name later on. So there's that. This is a 6x6 size. It will fit perfectly well in a 6x6 envelope. I've used A4 cardstock with these, but you can use 12x6 if you have that readily available. So there it is, the easel opens there. I've just left it as with a sentiment there. You can choose to have your message in there as well if you want. You can put another matte layer in here and have it standing like that. I've kept mine fairly simple, and then like I said, I'm going to have my message in there afterwards, and it just sits there just like that. So let's get started. You're going to need a piece of cardstock that measures 11 3/4, so is that basically the length of an A4 card. You can go for a 12-inch length as well. You just have to change the measurement slightly, but I will go through the measurements. And the width there is just 6. Along the 11 3/4 or 12-inch side, what you need to do is first score at 6. Okay, and then the next score is going to be at 8 7/8. If you're using a 12x6, your next score will be at 9, so you'll have a 3-inch gap there. But I've just, because I'm using an A4 size slot, I've got a 2 7/8 gap here, so that's that. And then you're going to need another piece that measures 5 by 11 3/4 again. So basically it's two A4s that I've had. You can use the same colour if you want. I've just gone for a slightly different one because I want this card to be very bright and colourful. So along the 11 3/4 inch side, you need to score at 2, 4, 8, 'So this portion will serve as your easel part of the card. So it's all of this and the easel pop up there. And then the rest of it will be for the Z fold. And so the next score after this will be at 10 7/8. Again, if you're using a 12-inch cardstock, your difference will be a 3-inch one as opposed to a 2 7/8. Okay, that's that. There is another piece that you need. I've measured out to be 5 by 7. And you're going to score this 3.5, and then 5 1/4, like that. And then we'll come back to the mats and layers afterwards. And then let's burnish these. So I'm going to do a valley fold there. And then do a mountain fold there. So you're going to fold it back like a Z basically. Like that. Okay. And then for your second one, you're going to do this slightly different. So you're going to do not your first score line, but your second one, you're going to make a valley fold there. So it's going to fold back on itself. And then this one's going to fold back on itself as well to make it into an easel. Okay, so that will be your easel there. This is then going to become a mountain. And then this piece is going to become your final valley. Okay, so then what will happen was you'll have your bigger portion of the first base there. Imagine this is flat like this. So there's your other Z. This is going to come up on top here. It's going to sit like that. And it's going to tuck in nicely like there. But obviously here you'll have your second easel and it will form that border there. But we'll get to that eventually. So that's what it will look like base wise. Okay, then to do your mats, so for your first one, for the big portion here, I've got a 5 3/4 by 5 3/4, and then you need 2 pieces of 5 3/4 by 2 7/8. Okay, so that's for those ones. One thing I did learn when I was doing this card was that it would flop towards the front quite a bit because of the weight of all the cardstock and the mat and layers. So what I did different with this one is for my bottom layer I'm using the little cardstock, which is about 250 GSM, whereas for the top one I'm using lighter cardstock. I think this is 180 or maybe just 200 GSM, so it's a lot lighter, and which is why I don't want to put too many matte layers in. Because it will just build up the bulk and it will make it more heavier. So I could do a mirror layer, but I'd rather just do washi tape. It's a lot lighter and it gives a similar effect. Okay, that's for that. You've got your third piece, which we measured out to be 5 by 7. So I need to actually burnish this. So I'm going to start by putting on my matte layers onto this first and onto this one, and then we'll assemble the cards. Right, I'm going to speed it up a bit here, so you'll still see what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm back. I didn't realise, I forgot to mention, if anyone was wondering, I was going just around the edges of my cardstock with marker pens. This just is something that I do when I feel like there's a white core present in my cardstock or coloured paper, and it just gives it an extra definition of preciseness. You don't have to do it, it's just something that I do. So I've stuck down my layers for my base cards. Thought it's better to run through how to assemble the Z-fold first, and then I can add my layers on top afterwards. So to do this, I'm going to just turn this over. I'm just going to apply a couple of lines of glue. I'm just going to make this sit around about there and just push it in. Okay, so there, if I just keep my finger there, you'll have that Z there, if you can see that Z. So to know where to stick this portion, I'm just going to go with my ATG and have it like there. Oh. And then I just like to hold the corner with my bone folder there. I like to fold this portion of the card on top of it. So I know I've got no air there now. That's just pressed down there. And I'm just going to press this card there. Hopefully when I turn it over and I open it, I've got a nice Z fold. So you'll see the Z there, if you see the profile there. And there's yours double Z. Okay, so then what you do is you take your other piece. Now I'm going to put it just against the score line, but not exactly to the line, because it will just make it bulky to fold. So I'm just going to put it just slightly below the fold line there. This, I'm actually going to glue the whole part of it, because it's going to be sitting at the bottom. Like I said, if you don't want to put in this second easel, you wouldn't score the additional line. So you wouldn't score this line, it would just be plain. But because I'm making it into an easel and I'm going to have it sit like that, that's why I've got that score line there. You don't even have to have it like a card. You could just have a spare card piece there to cover it. And then you'll have like your Z fold with just your easel at the top. In an ideal world, if this wasn't white and I wasn't bothered about it being white, you know, if it was the same colour, I would have the mats and layers as such. So I'll run through the measurements if you've got the same colour and you want to do the Miri card or the holographic card and then a designer paper on top, but I'm going to do it differently. But for those that are doing it how we normally do it, so you'll have a top Miri or holographic card piece that will measure 4 3/4 by 3 3/4, and then you'll have your designer series paper or your patterned paper, whichever you like, on top of that, which will be 4.5 by 3.5, giving you a 1/4 inch border all around, an 1/8 inch border all around, sorry, like that. Okay, and then for your middle here, you'll have a piece of 5 3/4 by 2 5/8 there, and then so let me just put that there. And then for the bottom here, you'd have another piece of 4 3/4 by 3 1/4, and then your pattern paper will be 4.5 by 3. Like there. Okay, but like I said, I'm not doing that because the white does bother me. So I'm going to save these for another card that I'm doing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, if I just fold that, I'm going to have this at the top here, and then I'm going to use this one for the bottom. But as you can see, there's a difference in the cone structure, so I'm hoping that my idea works. This one at the top here, because I want it to be the same width here, and I'm going to have washi at the top and the bottom, I'm going to cut this to 5 by 3 3/4, leaving just an 1/8 at the top and the bottom, and then the rest of this I'm going to save and use with this paper. I trim this first. This piece that I've got left I can use on the bottom. So this then should be able to sit comfortably there, giving me a bit of a border at the top and the bottom, where I'm going to put my washi tape just to give it that extra sparkle edge. And then for this one, I need this one to be 5 by 3 1/4, so I'm going to chop this as well. So I'll fussy cut that, and then I want that to come on the top like this so that it matches what I've got at the top. But I want this to be a 3 1/4, so I think that much of an overlap. Maybe I can put it right to the top there. Yeah, a little bit of an overlap. If I measure that now, so I want 3 1/4. So if I measure it from the bottom, 3 1/4 will give me that kind of a cut off, which isn't bad actually. So I'm actually going to have this edge at 3 1/4, and then I'm going to have this just there. And what I'm going to do is just put a light line there, so I know that's how much I need to get glue on to overlap this. So I'm going to quickly go do that first. Okay, so if you were watching how I normally go over with my markers, with these ones I had 2 different colours, so I've decided to go with the bottom where the cone part is in a nice cream colour, and then for the top I've got this pink, which is Cosmos, just to give it that bit of a radiant colour rather than just going over and cream all over. So I've just cut this to 5 by 3 1/4 and I stick this down. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stick these down onto here. First I need to put my washi tape on. Okay, so then with that done, so now for these, you don't want to stick it on full face like that, only because if you do that, the folds you got here you'll have to put into this card as well, and then what will happen is when it folds over you'll lose half your cardstock, and because you want to keep this design you only want to put glue on the bottom half here. So I'll do that, stick these down, and then I'll come back for the next step. Okay, so there you have it. There's your basic double Z card, and then obviously once you've got your toppers here and here you'll have your double easel as well. But that's what the base of it looks like. So now all that's left is to decorate it. I've got a few things here that I've rifled through my stash that I want to use, or may want to use. First one is this sentiment, which I'm thinking I'll put in the middle here so that it stands up, flashes up. I could have it here or here, but I think I like it more in the middle here, just to kind of stash up. And I might have that on foam, I'll see about that, but yeah. And then because obviously, like I said, I wanted it to be quite colourful, so I've got these, I think they were part of a notes pad or a notice pad, memo shapes, and I had these left over and they were quite bright and obviously neon light, so I think these might look nice. I might have, you know, I could probably use it as a stopper here, maybe, I don't know, I'll probably have it at the top here, but I'm going to play around with these. So I've got those, and then I've also got these card toppers from Violet Studio. Now I got these from Hobbycraft. I think they're available in the range as well, but you've got a variety of toppers there which I'm gonna play about with, probably make a collage here, or maybe use it for the stoppers here and there. But they've got funky colours, so I'm gonna give this a try as well. And then obviously I've got these other stamps here, which I'll probably use to stamp on top of these and mix and match it a bit. There is one thing that I did promise I would show you guys, which was making the tassels, and I'm going to be including that in this card as well somewhere. But I just wanted to show you how I made those. This isn't my idea of how to do them. I actually got the idea from Sam at Mixed Up Craft, and I'll try and put a link in the description when I can find that video. I watched this video quite some time ago actually on how to put it together, so I'm going by memory here. I'm just going to quickly cut some. I think I'll cut about 1.5 inches and 1 3/4. I'll try and get 2 tassels out of this, and then that way it won't be too hard. So I've got that there. Now this is something that I've changed from how Sam does it. Obviously if you've got the same colour on both sides, it isn't a problem, but where I've got a white base, I just go over it with a marker pen. You can go over it in glitter pen if you want, Wink of Stella if you want. I'm going to just go over this with my marker, a similar sort of colour of the marker. Okay, and then what you want to do is get your scissors. So you want to take your card piece, you can take it either way, and what you want to do is just cut a small strip, but you're not going to cut right across. You're going to leave a slight border at the top, slight margin where you're not going to cut. So you're going to kind of just, you know, you can draw a line if you want, you can put a score line if you want as well. I'm just going to eyeball it and just cut a thin strip right till about there. So I've left that much of a border. Now you can cut this as thin as you want, as thick as you want. It's totally up to you. It's just how thin your tassels will be. Okay, so you can see there my margin sort of increased quite a bit, but I've got quite a good length there that I want to use. So all you have to do then is take your glue. Right, so I'm going to put a dab of glue to get it started. Oh. Okay, and the aim is you want to just roll it into a ball, but as tight as possible. Like into a coil. I don't know if you can see that it's forming a bit of a coil as I roll into it. You want to go as tight as you can possibly. You could put a whole length of glue there if you wanted, but I am pressing into it quite a bit. So I'm just going to put some glue there and there. You can use your hot glue gun. I think that's what Sam used in her videos. Just let that dry. Right, hopefully that should be dry enough. So what you'll notice is it's a bit of a tassel like this. What I then do is, while I've got this pinched, just take my stylus or my bone folder and just kind of fluff these out a bit. But as I'm doing that, I'll take a couple of strands and just bend them in like that. And you'll notice now why I coloured the background, because as you can see, I can see some of the back parts, and you wouldn't, you'll see this all as white otherwise, and not the colour. But obviously where you've got the different colours there, it just kind of blends in, so it looks like you've got a bit of a reflection from somewhere else, or just it makes it a bit more colourful rather than having white in the middle. So by all means, I mean, you could use a different colour. You could make it look like a two-tone if you wanted. You could do a totally different colour on the background. If you just fan it out like that a bit there. I'll make another one. Now what I didn't do the last time was actually fan this out. So I'm just going to hold it from the margin and just very lightly just fan it out a bit. you know, you don't want to do it too much because you'll end up ripping it otherwise. But just, you know, very lightly, just fan it a little bit, make it a bit more free in its strips, give it that extra space, and then we'll start gluing this. So I'm going to put a glue dot there, and what I might actually do is just put a dot there and then just do a line there so that it sticks along the way as well. Okay, and then I'll just start gluing this. Okay, and then there we have it, a bit of the glitter mixed with the pink, and then you've got your two tassels there, one pink, one there. And obviously you can do them any length you want. You can make them, you know, a lot more fuller if you want. This one's with thinner strips, this one's with slightly thicker. I prefer the thinner strips because it looks a bit more mixed. So I might try that with this different colour combination as well and see how that goes. But I'm perfectly happy for that to go on this card. I'll probably add another different colour glitter just to kind of spruce it up a bit. But yeah, so I'm going to go away and just decorate the card a bit, and then I'll be back. Hi guys, so I'm back. I finally finished decorating my card. So just for the top here, I've got one of the tassels that I made. I'm still waiting for it to dry, so I don't want to move it about too much. These were from the Violet Studio card toppers pack that I showed earlier on. I got this from the Works, I think it was, or maybe the Pound Shop. It's just a pack of about 10 holographic card sets, 3D card toppers. So it's got a bit of foam tape at the bottom there, between the both layers there. In the middle, I just kept my sentiment there. I did want to put one of the tassels in, or maybe one of the toppers, but I was finding that it was getting very difficult to fold, and it was going to become very, very visible if I did, but I just left it like that there. I might put a few crystal drops there, or some, I think I've got some self-adhesive pearl dots, so I might put a few there, scatter a few there for that. And then at the bottom here, once again, I've got these toppers from the Violet Studio card toppers pack, another tassel there, and then I used the memo pad cutout shapes that I had. I heat embossed the sentiment on there in holographic embossing powder, so I don't know if you can see that, but it's got like a bit of a shimmer shine to there. And then this again is from that card pack, the card toppers pack from Violet Studio, and I've just left it like that there. When it comes to the time to send it to my recipient, I'm going to cut a 5 3/4 square white card blank, and then I'll stamp my image or handwrite it however I want once I know who this card's going to go to. And then after that's done, I'll stick it on, just because if I stick it on now, because of the bulk and stuff, it might not position properly. I might not be able to get a good stamping, so I'll do that before I stick it onto this. There you have it, my double Z fold double easel card. Beautiful. I absolutely love it. It's very colourful, very bright, just as I hoped. If you enjoyed what I did, please do give me a like, a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you know when I upload next, and share the love. Until next time, bye.